I'm going to start a new little mini series of videos on modeling and texturing a scene from Half-Life, the original Half-Life. And this was actually the image that I first saw that I liked and wanted to do because it didn't look overly difficult and it relies more on the texturing than the modeling. But I also have this image here, and I'm not necessarily planning on doing the car here, but I'm thinking about this platform, maybe some chains holding it up, and this railing, and mixing it with this other scene. All right, so that's what I plan on doing. So I'm over here in Blender, and I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a person or something the size of a person here. So I'm going to come in here, and I want this to be about 1.6 is probably fine for the height. So I'm going to scale this into Y and just make like a kind of a cube out of this to get some perspective. And that's all I need for my person there. Alright, so I'm just going to move him out of the way. In fact, I'm going to create a collection right now and call him Human. And now I'm going to make some walls. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to bring in a plane. I'm going to rotate X 90. So and I'm going to just bring that up to here. So that's 2 grid units. That's fine. I think I'm going to take this. I got snap to increment on. If I hold control. And that's 4, 5, 6. Maybe double check that. And I'm thinking of 7, 8 of relatively tall walls in the Black Mesa compound. And I'm thinking of doing this in a modular fashion, which will have some challenges of its own. And so right now I'm going to just block out the general shape of the room with this, and I may redo this. So I'm just going to Shift D. You could Alt D, but I'm not really at that point yet. Let me snap to edge and bring that in. And I'll take both of those, Shift D, slide them down. I slide it over, then I hold control, and that'll snap them like that. All right, I just want to double check that they're facing outwards. We can do that later too. Okay, at this point, I'm going to Shift D and I'm going to rotate Z 90. I'll worry about actual faces later on. I may have moved that, let's bring it back, snap it to there, and then I'm going to take 2, maybe 1, I'm not sure. Snap it to there. I think just 1 actually. So that one's probably flipped. So I'll just go in here and I'll flip it. So just the inside. Okay. So I'm going to take that and we're going to go back. So I'm going to take this one and bring it over here. Again, I moved it there and snap it to there. And then we're going to continue the wall down. So we'll take all of these, snap to that back one. So that's the side there, and I think at that point, see, this is what I'm doing right here, this thing. And I think I'll probably go down 4, and then I'll start coming around. So let's just go ahead and take this one and snap it, but that one will be flipped, I'm pretty sure. Am I in the right orientation for these? Yes. And then I'll just keep going. Okay, so I'll take those 2 now. And this is the only part of the wall I'm thinking of doing. I'll do a floor, which has got that green slime sort of stuff. And I'll probably do a roof, but I don't think I'll do a back wall here or over here because my shot will be in there. And let's take you. I just want to scale, make you a little thinner. So there's Gordon Freeman right there. Very tall walls. But we're going to need that for what we want to do. Okay, so let's hide you and then select everything and just for now move that into walls. So we got stuff in collections. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do for now anyhow is create a hole. And I think what I'll do is I'll take both of those and I'm going to drop an edge loop like that. And for the moment, I'll bring that up. I can change that. I'm going to delete those. And I'm going to select him and I'm going to make a fake one of these, all right, just as a stand-in. I think it will help. So I'll start with a cube, and I'll bring it up and snap it to there. And I'm going to go in a wireframe. I'm going to scale in the X, and I'm just going to make a rough thing here. In fact, I'll just do it equally on all corners. Okay, I'm going to Control B to bevel. I'm going to do this, and I'll drop an edge loop here, Control B, and we'll come down to there. That'll be like the ends. And then let's see, we'll do something here and here, and then I'll just put a few windows in. And let's see what I got here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I get that one here. Doesn't really matter. I could back up. I don't know how many I put in. Okay, so that'll be 1 window, 2 windows, 3. I think I did it right. 3 windows. Yeah, okay, close enough. Oh, I don't have edge loops on the other side. That's okay. This is just a stand-in, okay? So it looks like that. And what I'll do is I'll just give it a bit of thickness, and we'll throw on the bevel just so it looks a little bit better. At 0.02. For shade smooth, I don't want to get into too much right now. Maybe just a little bit of touch up so it doesn't look terrible. Just like, you know, doing stuff like this. I don't know if I improved it. Okay, so he's in there, and that's roughly what it would be. I'm going to actually take both of those now, and I take it back, and I'm going to call that car, train, whatever that thing is. Okay, so human looks like there's nothing in there now. I could delete that one. Okay, so that's the car, right? And so what I want to do is I want to take this and see if it looks like it would go through here. And yeah, get it roughly right in the middle. Okay, and bring it a little bit higher. So now I'm going to take I'm going to go into both of these, take these, bring them down a bit. I need some room for the rail or the track, whatever. And right at this point, I'm going to start putting down, or at least blocking in like a floor. There's going to be that slime. So just snap it to there. And even if it's not perfectly snapped, I don't care yet. Okay, so I'll take this and just see if I'm going to have enough room. I think that's going to be enough. So I'm going to take this to make it look a little bit better. Let's see if I subdivide it. Yeah. All right, so let's go like 15. And then I'm going to deform this. Just the really obvious way with clouds. And maybe I'll Control 1. Just maybe bring it up a bit. Just so it looks like it's got something. And that may not be what I want, but yeah, we got something in there. Now, above we're going to have a pipe, and so I'm going to do this at 16 and nothing. I'm going to rotate X 90, pull that up. This is going to be scale Shift Y, not in the Y. And let's take this, bring it in, we'll snap to there. We might do some special attachment, we'll see. We'll snap to back there, and I'm going to roll my mouse up with some edge loops like that, with them still selected. Control B and pull, and I want 3, so I can come back in here and Shift Alt and click. I'm not saying I will necessarily do the pipe this way, but I might. I just want to get something that kind of looks right. Alt S and pull, I guess, to make it come in. We'll shade smooth, and then I'll come over here under generate. I'll choose edge split, and I'm also going to put on normals, weighted normal. And is that facing outwards? Yes, it is. So we could have a pipe. I'm going to scale shift Y, make it a bit bigger. So we got that, and I'm going to put that in a collection as well. I may have other pipes. We'll see how much I want to deviate from the original image. There is a pipe here. Okay, although my track may not be in the same position when I do that, which is something I'm going to do any minute now. So I mentioned that I thought I was going to do a platform, and so I'm going to bring in a plane over here. I'm going to snap actually to there, and I might snap to around this line here, and then come out, and I might snap to there. I'm not sure if I want it bigger than that. And I'm going to want this at about the same level as the bottom or this edge of the car, so that when the car comes over, or if it did, let's see, let me put that as a platform. And I may change my mind about some of these things, how big they are, where they're going to go. I'm just going to actually duplicate this for the moment. So if it was there, you know, be kind of like that. So, all right, so. And the way I'm going to do this right now is this way, but I probably will do some of this in texture. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to break that piece out, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to extrude it up just a little bit, not too much. And I'll take that piece and probably bring it up. I'm thinking of doing a mesh-like thing on this. You could do the wireframe modifier, but I have to subdivide it, of course. Subdivide. We'll just see if this is if that's how I would want to do it. That's not going to be how I want to do it anyhow. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to subdivide again. Actually, yeah, okay. I'll subdivide one more time. It's going to be pretty small. For now, this is not how I'm going to do this. I just want it to look kind of cool. Control F, poke faces, and Control F tries to quads, and then press I twice. I. Pull it in, not too much though. X faces, and then I'm going to just extrude this down. I will probably delete this later and just do what I want to do in texture. I just want to make sure it's not flipped, and I want to make sure that's not flipped. And I'm going to join those together. Actually, I'm probably going to bevel this a little bit. You know, even though it's a block out, I might use some of this. I might decide I want this. So I don't know for sure. So I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to grab all of these edges, including, if I can get to it, this one. And I'll just bevel by hand rather than using the bevel modifier that much. You know, that kind of thing. And let's have another look here. Okay. So that's out there. It's not against the wall, and I'm not sure. It might. So what I want to do, this is what I'm looking at, okay? And so I'm thinking of actually doing the metal graded floor. But I mean, otherwise it would just look so boring right now. I can easily get rid of all this and just put it in and then do that. But, you know, but what I want to look at is, for the moment, is this fence-like structure. And so let's think about that. The way I like to do this is I'll take an edge, Shift D to duplicate and pull it up, break it out, and I'm actually going to, we need the guy now, because I have a tendency to not think about how tall, I'm just going to take him out actually, how tall to put my railings. I'm known for that. And so I want to try to think about that. So yeah, I don't necessarily want it there. Bring it up to about there. Okay, I'm going to extrude down and snap to there, so I've got that piece. Okay, you could go anywhere. You can go on the ground actually there. Stand in that toxic sludge. Okay, so what I really want is I'm going to probably want to array this, so I might make this more like that, more like a plane, and do this. Do I want to do it like, no, I'll do it like this. Make the railings like that. We're going to have one in there about the same thickness. You could do this more exact, but I don't really think it's going to be that necessary. And do I want the middle one the same, or do I want it different? That's the question. Yeah, see these ones, that one, and then those ones. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to take these, I'm going to scale these in the Z to separate them. Control B, make them a little thinner. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Let's see if I got this roughly the way I want it. Okay, so that's 4. 1, 2, 3. What did I do? Okay. Oh, 4 railings, 3 spaces. Yeah, right. Okay, we could probably go with that. I think I'll take this. Let's try mesh, cleanup, limited dissolve, just like that. See if this is what I want. I'm going to extrude back. And actually, no, maybe I'll bevel first. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these middle ones here and shift control B, pull 1. You could probably get away with just 3. I do feel like this middle one is a little bit wide, and I'm going to do this just by eye because I don't want to flatten out my bevel. And now actually maybe I'll move it a little bit. All right, let's say we started with that and extrude back. Okay, so if I had that and added an array, I'll have to get rid of some stuff in a minute. And when 1 in the Y, yeah, I'll have to get rid of those faces. I would get this, and I'm just going to do that, and then we'll get the size. So, okay, so let's do this. Let's hide that, come in here. Let's get rid of, it may not be the same fence at all, but, you know, it's something that hopefully will fit the nature of the scene. Okay, so we have that. Okay, so it'll be like this. Now, does this look wrong, or does it look close? So I see 2 of them in there. Do I care about that? No, I don't. I think this looks all right as it is, and it's a little bit stylized. What I'd like to do, though, is I would like to see about beveling it 0.01, or do I want to bevel it myself? I'd kind of rather not if I didn't have to. I'm going to do that, and then I'll add my weighted normal. Okay, so it's looking like that so far. And just, you know, roughly in there. And the other faces we can get rid of once I decide on it. But I want to put something in here. Let's see if I can like roughly bring my 3D cursor there. I don't know how well I did there. It's not quite. All right, I'll try to center it. I want to bring in a UV sphere and go like as low as I can. Like I'll go 10 by 10. I don't really care that much, but, and I'm going to rotate Y 90. Okay, and I'll just by eye because I'll be copying it by eye anyhow. Let's focus just on that stuff. Yeah, I'm going to want to do both sides. You know what I could do is, what if I get rid of those? Just pop that out a bit. And that, it's one object. Where'd it go? Oh, it's over there. Let's just shade smooth that. What if I scale Shift X, not in the X? So I get it on the other side, and the reason is in case I do a fence or whatever on the other side. Now, can I go to individual origins and SX scale in the X to flatten these a little bit, and then back to median point and then scale in the X to pull them in? I just didn't want them so prominent, but I do think they're kind of cute. So, all right, so let's see. Is that where I want them roughly? Okay, so Shift D to duplicate. I'm going to put it there. And let me turn the array off so I know where these go. Okay, now, do I want... See, I'm just looking at these. You can barely see them. I think I'm going to put them on every spot. So let's take it down here as well. And up here as well. So they're on both sides. So let's take that and let's join that. So let's just have a look at that. Let's bring that back. All right, so this is what we're getting. I'm just going to call it fence because I'm going to remember what that is. Part of the platform, but I'm going to call it fence. FG right there. Okay, so what if I come in here and increase this one? Can I do 2 more? And then change the size of some of this. What I can do is come in here to this. See if I can grab an edge. An outside edge. That's fine. Shift S, cursor to selected. Bring my 3D cursor there and switch my pivot to 3D cursor. And then I'm just going to scale it a little bit, and it'll change the shape of these a bit. Scale it in the Y, SY, and I'll just pull it back to around there. Okay, I didn't appreciably change it that much because I'm going to put a post in there as I put these on. So I'm going to take this. Let's go back to median point. Save. And can I set the origin to geometry? Yeah, good enough. Shift D, rotate Z 90. Doesn't really matter which front or back. And I'll get the position better in a second. I'll put a post in there. Just want to see, yeah, roughly there. But I'm going to have less of these because as you can see in the diagram, it's only this part, and then you got to have a place where you can walk on. So put that in there, and then make a post in there, and you know, this guy could probably be used for that. I want to start thinking about this car, and if it's going to fit, then I'm going to do the following. I'm going to select no, I'm just going to select these two, and actually I'm going to take that, Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, P to break it out, and I'm going to come in here and join them, Control J. Then come in and get rid of that vertex, dissolve that vertex. Okay, I can't. I'm going to see if I can merge by distance. Yeah. Let's see if I can now dissolve it. Yeah, okay. Because what I want is I want to extrude down to actually the bottom of the wall here. Yeah, okay. And I'm going to scale it up a little bit more. Okay, and then I'm going to bevel. So I may have to scale it some more. I'm going to scale it actually some more. That may be too much. We'll see if I've screwed it up. All right, with those selected, I'm going to Shift Control B and pull. I just want to. I want it notched like that. And then I'm going to press I to inset, pull in, not too thick. All right, something like that. And I'm going to get rid of those faces. And I'm going to extrude back. And I'm going to get rid of those back faces. Now, do I need to come up a little bit? I may decide to take those and just do this. So there's a little bit of the lip of that showing, but then I see that, so I may not do too much of that. And with that structure, whether or not I keep it exactly like that, I can now, I'm going to take, am I in it? Yes. This, I'm going to shift D to duplicate, pull that back, P to break it out, and I'm going to push it back on, and then maybe even a little bit bigger. E to extrude, actually maybe even a bit smaller, I'm not sure. That's going to be like the walls. You're going to see that like that. But I think they're probably flipped. No, they're not. Okay, well that's good. But this is, that's why that wasn't. Okay. So it goes into like a tunnel type thing. So at this point, I'm going to take this and bevel these edges. Okay, like this with 3, and these ones just a little bit. I want shade smooth. I don't really care about shading that much yet. It's far too early. I just want to have a quick look with shadows. Starts to look a little bit nicer. All right, so here's where we're at, and it's a little different. This tunnel might be a little bit different, but as you can see, the level just comes up to here. So maybe I'll tone down the bumpiness of this, and we'll have this come in, and I'll put the stripes. And there is something here. I can't quite tell what it is, so I might just do my own thing for that. But that's where we're at so far.